Hey guys, Sterling and Zane here from H&S Motorsports. Today we're talking about our entire lineup of fuel filter kits for the 6.7 Ford. Everything from our lower fuel filter upgrade kits to our upper fuel filter conversion kits, upper relocation kits, and our new upper fuel filter bypass kits.
Let's do this.
Talk about our lower fuel filter upgrade kit for the 2017 Plus 6.7 Ford.
I grabbed one of these trucks in 2017 right when they first came out and knew this was going to be an issue for guys trying to change their fuel filters. I mean, these plastic valves are going to break, and obviously nobody wants to unscrew a bunch of bolts and make a huge mess with this plastic pile of junk. So then we came out, after about a year's worth of testing and R&D, we came out with our lower fuel filter conversion kit, which is basically just a plate to bypass that filter, still utilizing the factory fuel box here, so it keeps all its features, and just going to a true spin-on style filter, so it's very easy to change.
We were the first to market with this kit, and we want to go over some of the features that make our kit the best kit on the market.
So what we've done here is kind of made a little cutaway test stand to show you guys kind of how this functions and why we did it the way we did. Initially, when I thought about doing this, I was like, why don't we just get rid of this plastic box, you know, and replace it like some of our competitors have done. There's some reasons why you don't want to do that. One, the ease of installation. These clips up here that are on top of the tank, these fuel line clips, you don't want to deal with these things. They are a pain in the butt, and especially on the long beds. If you're going to replace this thing, in some cases, you have to drop the fuel tank, which you don't want to do. And if you happen to break one of these fuel line clips up here on these fuel lines, they're about $400 to replace. So we just decided to leave the box in there for that feature.
One cool factory feature that our kit retains is the thermostatic bypass valve. Hot fuel coming from the injection system gets returned back to this box. If the fuel is too hot, the bypass valve opens, putting the fuel into this box that goes back up to the engine bay, as opposed to sending that super hot fuel back into your fuel tank, which can be detrimental to the pump and the fuel tank.
Also allows it to recycle it through the factory fuel cooler.
That's true.
Once again, so the fuel gets cooled twice before it comes back. And
so let's say I'm the end user. I pull this thing out of the box here. I've got the plate here with these tubes coming off of it. How does this work? We get a lot of questions about it, again, because our kit is a bit fancier than some of the other kits out there. How does this work?
So what we wanted to do with this was just to bypass the factory fuel filter, basically. So we're just running fuel through the aftermarket filter, the cat filter here. So we left the water fuel sensor in place here in the bottom of the plate. The one tube goes up and actually opens a valve that's in the top of the fuel canister here, and actually allows the fuel to go down the tube and just bypass this and go back into the fuel pump for filtration. But the cool thing about our kit is this little valve that goes, or this little tube that goes up here and opens the valve, allows the water, the heavier water is going to settle in the bottom of this, and the water is still going to go down the tube and settle into the bottom of this plate. So we put a drain on the bottom of here so you still can drain the water that actually will collect in this plate. So what you've got now is actually 2 points to collect water in the fuel system, which is better than one.
So you're going to get our made in the USA patented billet fuel plate here. You're going to get your powder coated bracket, obviously all the hardware that you need. You're going to get your filter head, your cap filter, and your fuel lines.
And of course, all pre-assembled lines. We assemble these things here for you, so the installation is just super easy, guys. So with our kit, you can actually install this probably in 35 minutes. You know, with these other kits, if you're taking this thing off and dealing with these clips or dropping tanks, I mean, you're a 4 to 6 hour install. There's no cutting or splicing or pushing fittings on or hose clamps like some of the other kits out there. These things are really, really easy to install. And if you ever have to return it to stock for any reason, you literally can take this stuff off in like 10 minutes and just slide your factory fuel filter back up in there, and you're back to bone stock.
All right, so Zane's got this test bench set up here. Let's see how this thing works.
So we turned it on here. You can see your fuel circulating through the system here. We have this mocked up. It's not 100% of what it is in the truck, but we've tried to make it that way with this pressure regulator so that there is pressure on the pump as it's simulating like if the pump was in the truck. Your fuel is going to come out here, obviously, through the line. It's going to go through the filter first, get filtered, go back up here and into the pump. And what's cool about these factory pumps is they actually have a little built-in air separator in them. So it gets all the air out of the system without having to go to any kind of aftermarket setup for that.
So with the cutout here, Zane, we can see that this still fills with fuel. What's the benefit of that?
Right, because we didn't want to take the water and fuel sensor out of the system. We wanted it to still function. And as I said before, you're still going to get the heavy water that settles in this chamber right here and goes down the tube and settles in the bottom of the plate, so your water and fuel sensor still works. So we just made this cutaway to show people that there's still fuel actually in the box here, and it's not just completely bypassed except for when the system is running.
So you can still drain water from the bottom of this.
Correct.
And then you have this as well, kind of
And
as a
this.
secondary water separator.
So the cat filter, for anybody wondering, also 10 micron filter, same as the factory filter, better quality filter though. And obviously all you got to do is unscrew this and screw a new one on. No mess, it's super easy. Took your fuel filter changes from an hour to 5 minutes.
And for you 11 to 16 guys, we haven't forgotten about your plastic problems either. These factory plastic lower fuel bowls are absolute garbage. Let's get rid of it. This is our lower fuel filter upgrade kit for the 11 to 16 Power Stroke. This is going to come complete with everything that you need to install. In typical H&S Motorsports fashion, it's a very simple install. You're going to get your pre-assembled fuel lines. Again, you don't have to worry about push lock fittings or anything like that. No dealing with hose clamps. These are going to come assembled and ready to install. You're going to get your cap filter, your 10 micron cap filter. You're going to get our billet lower fuel filter bowl that keeps your factory water and fuel sensor. You're going to get your mounting bracket, your fuel filter housing, your little bit of hardware that you need. You're going to get our patented fuel inlet valve. This allows you to bypass the factory fuel filter housing, and then you'll get the tool needed to install the inlet valve. As far as install goes, this is a super easy install. You're talking 30-40 minutes in your driveway, basic hand tools, no cutting, no splicing, no anything like that. You don't have to drop the tank, you don't have to drill a hole for a sump, none of that. With this kit, you're also going to get rid of the factory plastic fuel cap that are notorious for cracking. We'll replace it with our billet HSM fuel bowl, and then you're going to get the CAT 10 micron fuel filter and water separator. This is going to make for much easier fuel filter changes in the future, much cleaner fuel filter changes, and a much less expensive fuel filter change.
Now that we've covered our lower fuel filter conversion kits for the Ford 6.7, we'll tell you about our uppers, because guys are like, what do I do with my plastic upper filter now? Which these things are a huge pile of junk, cause all kinds of problems. Nobody wants that.
So we have a couple of kits for the upper fuel filters on these trucks. We have a conversion kit, which is what you see here. We also have a relocation kit. The conversion kit was our original upper fuel filter conversion for this truck. We've been making these since 2012. We were absolutely the first to market on these, and it fixes a whole lot of problems up here. So we get rid of the prone to breaking plastic post fittings. We get rid of the plastic fuel filter head. Everybody's seen the videos online of these things squirting fuel out of the top, the plastic cap squirting fuel out of the top. They crack. Not only can they cause the truck to not run right, but could also cause an engine fire with all the fuel. Yep. We use a spin-on Baldwin filter, so you're getting a 4 micron filter. It's better than factory. You're getting our billet fuel filter head. And then one of the cool features of this is our injector return line setup. So we get a lot of questions on this, Zane. Why did you design this kit the way that you did with this injector return line?
Well, the thing is, with the Ford factory filter, when the injectors return the fuel, it's coming back here, and on the factory filter, it's actually getting refiltered again, like through the filter. So in order to do that, you've got to bring the injector return into the inlet side of the fuel filter. You can't leave it where it was, or you can't just put a block here that bypasses it. Otherwise, if you have an injector come apart, it's going right back into your pump instead of getting caught by the filter.
So there's a couple other guys that make kits similar to ours. They've copied our kit, basically.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Do these guys do this as well?
No. Ours is the only kit on the market that retains the factory function of how the injector return fuel is actually refiltered again.
Okay.
All the other kits on the market do not.
Okay.
Highly recommend not buying them, sticking with the HSM one.
Now, another question that we get asked a lot is, why do we switch to a thread-on fitting?
The reason we did that is these little factory guys here, they're quick connects, got a real tiny little nipple on them. I see guys on Facebook and other forums all day long breaking these things off, changing fuel filters. So with our competition, they're still leaving these things in place. You've still got to take this off to change your fuel filter. You're going to break this. You've still got a problem.
So they're really not
kit.
eliminating the problem.
Right, so we went to push-on style hose here with a clamp and just a little fitting you can unscrew for your injector return to take that off real quick and just lift your filter head out of there. So we've eliminated the chance of breaking that stupid little plastic fitting.
Okay, that makes total sense. You know that a lot of guys are installing our stuff in their driveway. When you are designing a kit like this, how big of a factor is ease of install?
That is almost my number one priority that I've always kind of gone through with everything that we've developed here is ease of install has got to be number one. You know, a lot of guys want to do their own maintenance, want to do their own little installs and upgrades like this on their trucks. They don't want to go have to pay somebody to do them, even though you can still do that.
Right.
But yeah, 100% ease of install. All our kits are almost number one priority.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this thing is extremely easy. I mean, you take your three factory clips off the factory plastic fuel bowl, literally take it out, you drop ours in, clip your two factory lines on, you thread your injector return line on, and you're good to go.
Yep, you're done.
Easy as can be.
And then the filter changes are simple by just taking those back off, pulling that out, unscrewing the filter, screwing the new one on, and sticking it all right back down in there.
So along with our upper conversion kit, we also just came out with our upper fuel filter relocation kit. This is going to relocate the fuel filter completely out of the engine bay down to the frame rail. Zane, what are some of the benefits of the relocation kit?
Well, same thing again, we build off of ease of installation, all plug and play up here. You know, once again, we made a fitting that's got a filter built into it, so your factory fuel injector return filter is still filtered, the fuel's still filtered. We basically just bypass the filter, mounts down on the side of the transmission now to its true spin-on style filter. So you don't have to deal with these clips anymore if you don't want to under the hood. I still see some of these guys breaking these clips and kind of having a tough time with them and, you know, maybe splitting an O-ring inside the fitting, at which point in time you've got to replace the whole fuel line because you can't just replace the O-ring. So, you know, good idea just to put a spin-on style filter down under the truck while you're changing your lower, and you can change your upper too. You don't have to mess with the factory clips anymore.
Oh wow, okay.
Which is key for a lot of guys, you know, that
Absolutely.
are trying to do their own maintenance. We're just making this easy on them.
And there are a lot of guys out there that don't want the fuel filter underneath the hood at all. You know, they've seen horror stories of fuel leaks and fires and stuff like that. They don't want anything fuel filter related under the hood at all.
Exactly.
And this does that for
we're
them.
just bypassing that filter under the hood with an easy plug and play block.
Makes sense. Another new offering that we have is our upper fuel filter bypass kit. So if you already have an aftermarket lift pump that eliminates the need for the upper fuel filter, this allows you to completely bypass it. Again, super easy install. You're going to reuse the factory clips here. You're still going to get our injector return filter fitting. Basically, this is just going to allow you to completely eliminate the upper fuel filter from the fuel system.
Thank you for watching our overview of the H&S Motorsports fuel filter kits. If you have any questions regarding our conversion kits, relocation kits, or upgrade kits, check out our website at hs-motorsports.com. Give us a call at 855-623-4450 or reach out to your favorite HSM dealer.